Previously on the Dawn Pearl, the Straw Hat crew uncovered the truth behind the legend. The Dawn Pearl wasn't a weapon, but the heart of a lost sunken kingdom, created to stabilize the seas. Deep beneath Tiglass Cove, Luffy and his friends passed the ancient trials of strength, will and truth, finally awakening the pearl. But just as the Dawn Vault opened, disaster struck. The Crimson Fleet, led by the ruthless Admiral Kael, descended into the trench, shattering the protective barrier around the Sunken Kingdom. The Dawn Pearl chose Luffy, and the war beneath the sea began. The ancient barrier around the Sunken Kingdom explodes into a million shards of light. The sea itself seems to scream as the massive, dark hulls of the Crimson Fleet warships force their way into the abyss. Crimson harpoons, glowing with stolen energy, fire from their cannons, piercing the ancient silent towers and pinning them in place like captured leviathans. The entire submerged city trembles, and alarms, silent for 1,000 years, echo through the water. A cold, amplified voice booms from the lead ship, shaking the very foundations of the ruins. Straw Hat Luffy, hand over the Dawn Pearl, or watch this kingdom fall. Again. Down in the city square, surrounded by the ghosts of a long-lost civilization, Luffy steps forward. The Dawn Pearl rests in his palm, pulsing with a gentle warm light, a stark contrast to the aggressive red glow of the fleet above. His usual carefree expression is gone, replaced by a steely resolve. He looks up, his voice clear and defiant, cutting through the chaos. No. The single word is a declaration of war. Hatches open on the Crimson Fleet ships, and soldiers in advanced armored diving suits flood the city streets. They move with cold military precision, their weapons aimed. But the Straw Hats are ready. Zoro grips the hilts of his 3 swords, a feral grin spreading across his face. He glances at the ship's cook. Sanji, left side. Sanji, already a blur of motion, lights a cigarette, a smirk playing on his lips. Try to keep up, Mosshead. In a flash they charge. Zoro becomes a whirlwind of steel, his blades clashing against armor with deafening rings. Sanji's kicks land like meteors, his Diablo Jam igniting the dark water with brilliant arcs of flame. Together, they tear through the enemy's front line. Further back, Usopp takes a defensive stance, his trusty Kabuto in hand. This is a cultural heritage site, you jerks. He yells, firing a volley of pop greens. The seas hit the ancient stone and instantly bloom into massive, interlocking walls of coral, shielding the delicate statues of the city's former inhabitants and the crumbling, priceless architecture. From her position near the central vault, Nami raises her climax. The Dawn Pearl's awakening has created chaotic, unnatural currents, but for a master navigator, chaos is just another tool. She manipulates the swirling water, gathering the pressure and unleashing it in spinning vortexes that rip through the enemy formations, sending armored soldiers scattering like pebbles in a storm. Suddenly, the water above parts as if commanded by a god. A lone figure descends, landing with an impact that cracks the ancient plaza. It's Admiral Kael. He stands tall, clad in ornate, golden armor, wielding a massive trident that hums with the same stolen dawn energy as his fleet. His eyes, cold and calculating, lock onto Luffy. You pirates don't understand power, Kael sneers, his voice dripping with contempt. The sea isn't a friend. It's a tool, control the seas. And the world kneels. He slams the butt of his trident onto the ground. A violent shockwave of pure force erupts, blasting across the plaza. It hits Luffy head-on, sending him flying backward, tumbling through the water until he crashes hard against the stone pedestal of the Dawn Vault. Mira, the historian who guided them here, screams from her sheltered position. Luffy! Luffy struggles to push himself up, dazed. But Kael gives him no time to recover. He's on him in an instant, the energy-charged trident clashing with Luffy's rubber fists. Each impact sends thunderous ripples across the entire city. Kael is a monster of raw force and tactical precision. He overwhelms Luffy, blocking and parrying every frantic punch before delivering a devastating blow that slams Luffy into the vault once more, harder this time. The Dawn Pearl, still clutched in Luffy's hand, begins to glow brighter, its light pulsing in time with Luffy's struggling heartbeat. It's as if the pearl can feel his pain, his determination. As Luffy lies slumped against the stone, the ethereal voice of Queen Lysera, the kingdom's last ruler, echoes through the water, a final ghostly whisper from the past. The dawn answers not to commands, but to conviction. The words seem to flow directly into Luffy. He slowly, painfully, pushes himself to his feet. But something is different. He isn't transforming. There's no gear second steam, no gear fourth inflation. He is just himself. But his eyes are clear. The chaotic energy of the fight is gone, replaced by an unnerving calm, a singular resolute focus. He looks at Kael, not with anger, but with absolute certainty. He draws back his fist and punches. The blow is silent. There's no explosion of haki, no flash of light, no grand spectacle. It's just a punch. Pure, unadulterated force, driven by the unwavering conviction of a man protecting his friends and a promise. The silent punch connects with Kael's massive trident. For a moment nothing happens. Then, cracks spiderweb across the energy-charged weapon. With a deafening shatter, the trident disintegrates into dust. The force of the punch continues unimpeded, striking Kael square in the chest. The Admiral's eyes widen in disbelief as he is launched backward, a human cannonball crashing through one of the ancient towers, which crumbles into the abyss after him. The moment Kael is defeated, the sea itself seems to exhale. The angry red glow of the Crimson Fleet ships flickers and dies as the Dawn Pearl, now resonating in perfect harmony with the ocean, stabilizes the currents and nullifies their power source. The dreaded tidebreaker weapon goes silent. From the wreckage of the tower, Kael emerges, wounded but not broken. He glares at Luffy, a bitter menacing smile on his face. This isn't over, Straw Hat. With that, his fleet begins a hasty retreat, disappearing back into the dark trench from which they came. Silence, deep and profound, returns to the Sunken Kingdom. But the battle has taken its toll. The ancient structures, already fragile, begin to crumble, their purpose now fulfilled. The ghostly image of Queen Lysera appears one last time, her form shimmering and translucent. She looks at Luffy with gratitude. The kingdom can finally rest. But the pearl's work is not done. It must return to the sea, or the balance will break again. Luffy looks down at the beautiful glowing orb in his hand. He understands. With a small, sad smile, he says, "Yeah, I get it." He opens his hand and releases it. The Dawn Pearl doesn't sink. It dissolves into a billion points of light, spreading through the ocean, a wave of calm and warmth that touches every corner of the sea. Above, on the surface, the sun is rising. For the first time in centuries, the waters of Tideglass Cove are perfectly still and calm. The Thousand Sunny breaks the surface, the Straw Hat crew gathering on its deck, weary but victorious. They watch the new dawn paint the sky in hues of orange and gold. Luffy, back to his old self, places his hands on his hips and grins, his stomach rumbling loudly. All right, who's hungry? Thanks for watching our epic conclusion to the Dawn Pearl saga. If you enjoyed this adventure, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what's next for the Straw Hat crew. Let us know your favorite moment in the comments below. See you next time.